Yes, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Bosom Jones coming right back at you. MMA-related type of video. You know, I want to talk about Kimbo Slice versus Ken Shamrock at Bellator. Kimbo Slice versus Ken Shamrock. Now, to me, when I heard about this fight, I'm sitting there thinking, really? Really? Ken Shamrock versus Kimbo Slice? Well, when I thought about Ken Shamrock, as of late, Ken Shamrock is clearly not the guy he once was back like 20 years ago. Well, hell, probably even 30 years ago. Like, let's be honest here, Ken Shamrock today, no offense to him, is no good. He really isn't. Maybe he's good enough to beat Kimbo Slice because, Kimbo Slice, he doesn't have the best ground game in the world. But at the same time, I don't think for a second that Ken Shamrock, a guy who is technically a ground fighter, he's nowhere near as good as he once was on the ground. Matter of fact, Ken has lost so many fights by getting knocked out. I mean, like over the last 10 years, it's really a shame. And when you think about it, Ken is actually technically one of the greatest of all time. But for things that he did about 20 years ago, back when the UFC was first getting started, he was one of the pioneers. He really should be held to a legendary status, really almost as close as Hoist Gracie, to be honest with you. So he's not really held up to that status, but he just made the man just lost too many fights, man. So look, there's a good chance that Ken Shamrock is going to get knocked out by Kimbo Slice, because even though Kimbo Slice clearly wasn't the best himself, he wasn't the best heavyweight, he wasn't able to capture the heavyweight championship in the UFC, but he is more than capable of knocking Ken Shamrock out, because there has been even worse of fighters than Kimbo Slice who knocked Ken Shamrock out. Now, like I said, I want to give Ken Shamrock his props. Like I said, Ken Shamrock is a legend. But ladies and gentlemen, he's a legend based off things that he did like about 20 to 25 years ago, back when the UFC had, basically was first getting, brought up, coming up. So that was a long time ago. Ken Shamrock was constantly losing it to Tito Ortiz, unfortunately. Like, I was hoping that he'd get a win. It just didn't happen. And then I remember, shortly after that, he was fighting Rich Franklin, and Rich Franklin got popular off of knocking him out, and then Ken just never really got back on track of winning. He wasn't winning his fights; he was just losing and losing and losing. And Kimbo Slice, man, Kimbo Slice, like I said, he's not the best fighter in the world, but at the same time, Kimbo Slice is still dangerous. He's more than capable of knocking Ken Shamrock out within probably 30 seconds, 10 seconds. He can knock people out. He has a 7-0 boxing career. He's just coming back basically in the MMA base because he misses it. Now, this fight was supposed to happen about, a couple of years ago, if I'm not mistaken, about 7 years ago. It was supposed to happen a while back, but the fight didn't happen because apparently Ken Shamrock had got an injury. He got an eye injury. He got a cut. And Ken Shamrock said, he was warming up, and he had got headbutted. He got headbutted around the eye, and he caught a cut. So unfortunately, that fight didn't happen, and Kimbo Slice fought someone else, and he got knocked out. So now we're getting this fight now. Now they're probably putting this fight together basically to help bring eyes to Bellator, because even though, like I said, this fight really isn't going to do anything for either one, I guess it will bring eyes. Because, like I said, Ken Shamrock is a legend. And Kimbo Slice is a name that people remember. Matter of fact, I remember Kimbo Slice was really a draw for, what's that company? Elite XC. He was packing in builders. So I give him his props for that. He was packing in builders. And a lot of people was watching The Ultimate Fighter that for the heavyweights that he was on, really to see if he could win. So it will bring eyes. I give them that. But at the same time, man, this fight, I just don't know, man. Ken Shamrock is 51 years old. Kimbo Slice is 41. So at 51 years old, can Ken Shamrock get it done? Here's the absolute truth. I don't think that he can, man. I don't hate Ken Shamrock. Like I said, he was one of the guys who I grew up watching at one point, in the WWE. Seen him a little bit in the UFC, but at the age of 51, can he get the job done? I don't think so. I really don't. I think that he is going to get knocked out within the first round, quite possibly the second one, if he can make it there. But as far as him actually winning this fight, man, like that, I don't think that's gonna happen. You know, he's too old. He's 51, and he has lost to much worser fighters. Now, he thinks that because Kimbo Slice's ground game isn't that good, he can just get him down to the ground. Well, maybe you can get him down to the ground because I'm pretty sure Kimbo Slice's ground game isn't that good. But at the same time, Ken Shamrock isn't that good. Now, he has said that. He pretty much said that. He said that I'm 51 now, and I'm probably like 50% less than what I once was back in my prime. Like, Ken Shamrock has said that. But will that 50% be enough to beat Kimbo Slice? I don't think it will. I think that Kimbo Slice will be the much stronger and even the much faster fighter. Kimbo Slice can't knock out Ken Shamrock. I don't know if Ken Shamrock can knock out Kimbo Slice. If Kimbo messes up, yes, Ken Shamrock can most definitely get a submission on him right away. But will it happen? I do not think so. Kimbo Slice will more than likely knock out Ken Shamrock at least within the first or 2 rounds. So, those are my thoughts on that. Kimbo Slice versus Ken Shamrock is really just a fight to help bring eyes onto Bellator, which does make sense. So go ahead and make that fight. So, if you haven't done so, please subscribe to my channel. I'm out. Deuce.